My diagnosis is stereotypic movement disorder. This disorder is found in many different populations, including Tourette's and autism. Stereotypical movement disorder is a motor disorder that usually develops in childhood. It includes repetitive and purposeless movements such as waving, head banging, and body rocking. I'm going to use the Repetitive Behavior Scale revised to assess stereotypic movement disorder in a child with autism. This scale was specifically designed to rate the full range of repetitive behaviors in those with autism. The measure has good internal consistency, which means the questions all relate to each other, and it has good concurrent divergent validity, meaning the results of the test are similar of those of other tests, so it is measuring the right things. The assessment is supposed to be filled out by the caregiver of the individual being assessed. This assessment will take 10 to 15 minutes to complete. There are 43 items grouped into 6 sections, including stereotype behavior, self-injurious behavior, compulsive behavior, ritualistic behavior, sameness behavior, and restricted behavior. The scale asks that the user rate the severity of the behavior on a 4-point scale, 0 being it does not occur, 1 for mild occurrence, 2 for moderate occurrence, 3 for severe occurrence. At the bottom of each section of questions, there are 3 lines. Each line has a different question. The 3 questions asked are: how often do the movements happen? How upset does the person get when interrupted? And how much do these behaviors get in the way of ongoing events? The last question asks the user to lump together all behaviors that are described in the assessment to see how big of an issue the repetitive behaviors are. The scale goes from 1 to 100, 1 being a problem, not a problem at all, to 100 being as bad as it gets. Today I have Marisha here with me, who is Jim's mom. Jim has autism and has just started occupational therapy with me. He's 11 years old. I noticed in our first session that he presents with stereotypic movements. Since Marisha spends the most time with Jim, I'm going to have her fill out the assessment to see where Jim is on the scale. So Marisha, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
So I'm going to have you do an assessment over Jim. So you're going to answer these questions at the top and on the different types of behaviors he has, and you rate him from 0, the behavior doesn't occur, to 3, the behavior occurs and is a severe problem, and then everything in between. And at the bottom there's this line, and it's going to ask, on the first one it's going to say how often do they happen, and if they don't happen at all you're just going to skip straight to the second section. But if they do happen, you're going to rate it from never to constantly on this line and just put a mark.
Okay.
Alright, so let you do that. So Marisha finished her assessment of Jim, and on the final question it asks that she lumps all of the behaviors together and rates how it affects his life and her life, and she rated him at an 81, which is on the higher side of the scale, because the highest is 100, which is very severe. So this looks to be like a problematic thing in his life, the repetitive movements, so we're going to address this in therapy.